shalom, my friends. Shalom, my enemies. This is your old pal, Rabbi Sol Solomon, founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. And what a delight to have a laughing, happy, beautiful Jewess in front of us, ladies and gentlemen. A Broadway veteran going all the way back to doing shows like They're Playing Our Song on Broadway, the very, very underrated musical Ain't Broadway Grand. She was in Les Mis in Chicago. She's also performed cabaret at places like Rainbow and Stars and Birdland and 54 Below. She tours with the son of Steve Lawrence of Steve and Edie fame. And what else is she? Well, the thing is, the reason that we're having her on the show, we would have her on the show anytime, but this particular weekend, January 29th through February 1st, so it's technically sort of next weekend to next weekend. Don't parse with me. Just listen to what I'm telling you. It's Big Band Broadway at the Westport Country Playhouse Westport Country Playhouse in Connecticut. All of this is being done by the lovely person we see in front of us, Debbie Shapiro Gravitte. Shalom!
Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Chaverim. Is that right? Yeah, that's right.
Yes, Chaveret. You're the girl type friend of a person. Hello!
Okay,
And shalom.
now wait a minute. Stop.
Okay.
First of all, it's gravitte, like a rabbit. So let's get straight. There you go.
I have been saying it wrong for the better part of 40 years. Oops,
Right.
Debbie Gravitte. I'm sorry.
Gravitte.
Oh,
Gravitte.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for explaining the gravity of the situation here. But it's Debbie Gravitte, and the first question, the only real question that I really care about is what happened to the Shapiro? Where is it? I'm looking under this, looking at.
Hold
there
on,
used to be
let
a
me
Shapiro.
get it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to just tell you the story of what happened. Speaking of Jewess, I worked with a man named Fred Ebb, which I'm sure you know, of Cantor and Ebb, of course, and he became a very good pal of mine. And when he was living, may he rest in peace, we were talking on the phone one day, and he says to me, Debbie, I was just talking to Hal, as in Prince, and Hal and I were talking about a show that had just opened. And Hal says to him, Fred says, how'd you like the show? And he says, Hal, they should have gotten the girl with the Jewish name. And I went, wait a minute. So is that what I am now? The girl with the Jewish name? Now, this is also years ago. This is before, Idina Menzel and, countless other people, maybe not countless, but a lot of, more obvious Jewish names.
Like Chalamet. What? Yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah. Anyway, so I just went, I do not want to be the girl with the Jewish name. I thought that was a horrible moniker. And unfortunately, I'm saying this to a rabbi, but I think that sometimes Jewish people have their own sort of self-anti-Semitism. They because we sort of recognize the tribal aspect. I mean, this is getting very deep, and I don't need to kick off.
You can get as deep as you want with me. I studied Talmud badly, but I studied Talmud, so deep you can go.
So I think that there's just sort of a thing about that. So I wanted to be on a much more neutral playing field. Also, I had 3 children by this time. At school, I was, Mrs. Gravitte if I wasn't Charlie's mom or Sam's mom or Ellie's mom. And I just thought, you know what? If I'm known at the cleaners as Debbie Gravitte, I can be known as Debbie Gravitte.
All
So
right.
I took my large hand, which it just looks giant, my hand behind you. I want everybody to know my hands aren't that giant. They're normal.
See, I put my feet up in front of the thing when I want to impress girls. I'm like, hey, that. But anywho, yes, continue.
Anyway, so, that's really the long and short of it. So for a while, I was Debbie Shapiro Gravitte, and then I became Debbie Gravitte. And I really haven't looked back. People who know me still, from Mark Shaman to Seth Rudetsky, people who've known me and know me, they'll call me, Shapiro, and I'm like, I still answer the phone. So
You know what? Your next name change. What is your Hebrew name when you were bat mitzvah? What's on the thing
I
there?
wasn't bat mitzvahed because
It wasn't a thing then. Yeah,
it
right. All
wasn't a
right.
thing then. No.
Were you
Um,
circumcised? No, I
but I
think.
was circumcised, so I'm good. I'm good to go. I my Hebrew name is Devorah.
So I can call you Dvora Gravit. That's it works, sort
That
of,
really
kind of. So,
doesn't scan well, does it?
but if you didn't get bat mitzvah, you know, oh, gesundheit, you know, seem to know some Hebrew and stuff. Did you go to Hebrew school and things like that?
אני לא מדברת עברית.
Where did you
Just
learn
have a
that
good
then?
accent.
Yeah.
I just have a good accent. And I just did a Fiddler on the Roof with in Atlanta with because now I'm very good at playing Jewish mothers. I don't it's such a stretch for me. I don't even understand. Um but I but it was directed by this man named Tomer Zvulun, who's Israeli, and he wanted the Sabbath prayer in Hebrew. So the
Right.
extent of my Hebrew.
No,
When I
I
went
mean
to
it's
Hebrew
really.
school, all we did was like, eat candy, and I learned how to read a little bit with vowels.
Well, no,
That's
you are good. I can tell already. You're actually, no joke, you're very good with accents. I just wonder about Fiddler on the Roof in Atlanta. There was it like Tevye saying, "It's tradition, you all." I mean, at what point do you?
actually he was Israeli himself, and he was amazing. It's the second time I've done. I've done it with two incredible Tevyas. Yeah,
Well,
I
you were
just
golden in both, right? So let me ask you, what is your take? Because Fiddler has been done, thank God, over and over and over everywhere. Did you have a particular slant on the character of Go that's different from Maria Karnalova or all these other people?
well, I it was just true to me, which is I have three children. I think I'm pretty sure I was a little warmer than people are normally used to it being. She sort of played very acerbically and sort of, screeching at her husband. And I think that they really love each other. And I so and I loved my Tevyas and they loved me. And so I mean that's basically
You
it.
were warmer. You no. When Randy Graff was doing it, that one with the Goyish Fiddler that they did on Broadway, she was more human, younger, warmer than a lot of the Goldas that we've come to expect.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have done so many roles on Broadway. A lot of the questions that we really want to ask you is just like tell us anecdotes about the amazing people you've worked with. For example, you did Zorba with the one, the only, the Zorba, the Anthony Quinn. Were there any Anthony Quinn stories?
Oh, I have a million Anthony Quinn stories. I mean, he was an amazing man. He was an amazing man. He had like 72 children. It's so funny to me that he was neither, he wasn't Greek. He was Mexican and Irish. And people thought he was like this Greek god, which was funny to me. Because we'd go to all these Greek restaurants and they were all like, Anthony Quinn is and I'm like, Anthony Quinn is Irish and Mexican, so whatever. Um, the best story I have about him, besides the fact that he did not like to lose, and Robert Westenberg and I, another actor, um, we started playing racquetball with with Tony, with Anthony Quinn. And the minute I could beat him, he didn't want to play with me anymore. So there was that. So that's that. But the best story I have, which I think is speaks volumes. One day, now when he did the show, I think he was in his mid 70s, right?
Yeah, it was the
And
last go round of
a
people to
very
see. Yeah.
hearty, I mean, healthy, hearty man and
Oh yeah.
vibrant. But one day we were on Broadway, and I did like this big opening number, and then on comes Zorba. And he came on stage and he went up. He went up. And he was clearly lost. They brought down the curtain. Ran off the stage because we were on the same side of the stage. He ran off the stage to get his script. he came back on stage, they raised the curtain, and he addressed the audience and he said, "Ladies and gentlemen, please forgive me. I was in a terrible car accident today. We're going to start the show again." Curtain back. We started the show again. And we're like, he was in an accident? He was not in a car accident. He made the entire thing up on the spot. It was brilliant. And the audience was like, "Oh my God, you're so amazing." And, he went up and it freaked him out. So he came up with a Bubba mindset to tell the audience.
Wow. Only a star. Oh, that's a real
That
star.
is a star. Yeah.
Have you ever told a fib like that when you had to get out of something either?
Absolutely not. I'm the worst liar ever. I cannot lie. It's bad.
Oh, this is
People are like, "Are you cheating at cards?" Or if I win something, I'm like, you're cheating. I'm like, I cannot cheat. I can't do it.
Your tongue ever went over the line in racquetball? Never. Didn't look the other way?
Maybe a little bit, but
Maybe,
okay.
maybe an inch, maybe a centimeter, as the European people would say. Let me ask you, speaking of other famous people and legendary people.
Are these payas or your glasses?
These are actually, well, glasses with the payas. With the backdrop, you can't really, if you can sort of see, there they are. They're actually grafted from my nose hairs onto my ears because my hair's not growing the way that it's supposed to anymore. But let me ask you, legendary thing, another show that you did on Broadway was called Perfectly Frank, which was devoted to the music, the songs of great showman Frank Lesser. And I didn't remember that in the show was his wife, Jo Sullivan. Did she, any stories either about her or that she shared with you about Frank Lesser?
Well, a lot of stories were told in the show, including the most famous line that my husband was at the show. It's before he knew me. He was at the show, and apparently, I don't remember this, but apparently one of the lines she said, which is probably why the show closed, was, "Well, Frank's dead now." And it was sort of, he said, the audience didn't know what to do. "Frank's dead now." Well, of course he's dead.
Yeah.
But I think there's more of the story of when Fred Ebb met Frank Lesser. And he said to me, "Don't meet your idols." I'm sure you've heard that phrase before, because often they'll disappoint you. Now, no one's ever really disappointed me that way. Well, one person, but I won't mention.
Oh, no, come on, stop
No,
here.
no.
Wait, you got it.
I will not. Nope, I won't.
That bad? Are they still alive, or are they dead?
No, they're alive.
Ooh.
And anyway,
So Fred Ebb and Frank
met
Lesser.
Frank Lesser. No, and I think that it just, it didn't go as well as he hoped or something. And I could be sort of making this up a little bit because it's been a while. I didn't really learn anything great about Frank Lesser except for the fact of how incredibly brilliant he was across so many genres. I sang a blues song called Junkman in that, which became sort of my little song for a while. And how did he do that? Where did that come from? So, he was short, so maybe he was making up for height deficiencies by being good at lyrics.
Yeah, wouldn't know about that. But let me ask you, we're talking, by the way, with DEBBIE GRAVITTE, whom you can see in Connecticut. Well, she does Big Bang Broadway at the Westport Country Playhouse, which is next coming weekend from Thursday through Saturday. Get your tickets.
Sunday.
Oh,
Thursday through Sunday.
Sunday, excuse me, sorry. Not Shabbos, Sunday.
January 29th through February 1st.
WestportPlayhouse.org, by the way, is the website for that. But speaking of people that you've encountered and stuff, you were just telling us a story of your husband seeing you on stage before you even... So how did you meet Beau Gravitte, and how did you end up becoming...
How did I meet Beau
Gravitte? God damn it. Yes, sorry, yeah. God, I got your name right. I got his name wrong. It happens. I'm sorry.
We met, okay, so what's great is he came to see me in that show. So he knew what I did. So that was always important to me. I didn't have to go, "Well, I'm a singer and I did it." Yeah. Didn't have to do that. Um, I had done the year before. It's funny you mentioned Randy Graff because I did it with her. We did a show called King's Tapestry, and it was all Carole King music. And it was a review of, and of course, people loved it. And obviously, this is way before.
Beautiful, the Carole King musical on
Yeah.
Broadway. Right, right, yeah.
And so I had done one version of it, like in summer stock, like the only real summer stock I've done in Lake Winnipesaukee, New Hampshire. It was glorious. And then they wanted to do it again, and Bo Gravitt replaced a guy in it, and that's where I met him on January 7th, 1982.
And was it, I mean, did he ask you out that night or after you were
No,
running a couple of
no,
weeks?
no,
No,
we
no.
were friends. We were like, he was so, he had really straight hair, and he was so, you know, he was so the other to me. But we
I mean,
became
Goyish,
friends.
is basically is what you're saying.
Well, and I don't know, we fell madly in love. And
And you've
a
been
hundred
married
years later,
how many years have you been cohabited, married?
we're, I can't believe I'm going to say this. We're going to have our 40th wedding anniversary this year.
Mit Mazel. Are you going to do any plans? Are you going to rent a Broadway theater and like,
Yeah, we're going to rent a Broadway theater. Yeah, you pay for it and I'll rent it.
right, well, okay. No, I thought maybe it'd be really cool. You buy a nice brass bed and you do it right where you both want to be all of your lives. Just like invite very close friends, maybe not family, and reconstitute the marriage if you would. No, just, and Mazel Tov, you do have 3 children, 3 kids. Are they basically grown-ish at this point?
Oh yeah. Yeah, my kids are grown. My kids are
Are
grown.
any
My
of them
son,
in the
yes,
show?
I have
Yeah.
3 children.
Mhm.
My eldest is on his way to being a fireman in the great state of Connecticut. Um, I have twins. My son Sam is a musical theater.
Oh, I knew it. There's
Well,
always going to be one. Yeah.
no, he's a writer. He's an actor, a singer. He's an all-around incredible human. As are all my kids. They're all great people, which is all I care about.
Maybe not the second twin so much, but the other two. No.
No, no, the second twin,
So
my daughter,
Who's Sam's thingy there? Who's the other brother? Or yeah,
his sister is
sister,
Ellie.
Ellie, and she is a.
She is a filmmaker. She has a screenplay that's out into the world of Hollywood, and she's incredible. And an editor, a writer, a thinker, a planner. She's amazing. All my kids are amazing.
Of course, you're quelling about your kids. It would be a problem if you weren't quelling about your kids. Let me ask you somebody else that we.
I hate the way I look right now. I would like to say this to your audience. I didn't do my makeup well. Okay, go ahead.
You look fat. What the hell is wrong with you? You look amazing. Damn it. But look, I can't do anything with this. Look at this. But speaking of, longevity, let's say. Did you actually open, and I hope you have a story, did you open for George Burns?
Oh, I did open for George Burns. Unfortunately, my story about George Burns is a little weird because, I mean, obviously he would have different people open for him all the time. And by the time I worked with him, he was very high 90s, I think. I think he died at 101 or something.
Yeah, I think he made it.
He
Yeah.
was absolutely delightful. He was delightful.
So what's weird?
He was absolutely delightful. But basically, he he had his show and what he does so much in his body and his brain and his head that even though he wasn't fully there, I'm going to say, when I worked with him, they sort of would push him onto the stage and he was off to the races. So backstage, he wasn't necessarily as,
Okay.
I don't want to say he wasn't incoherent in any way. He wasn't.
Right.
But he wasn't
He was
full.
conserving his energy. He was 90 plus years
Yeah,
old. He's like,
yeah.
getting a sip of water would have, ruined the next 10 minutes of his act. He's like,
Um,
yeah.
Adorable. He was
Okay. Oh, all right. So nothing bad. Just a little. It was old. This is what happens. You know. Um, your large hands.
yeah.
That. Yeah. No, but no. I was interviewing someone a couple of months ago who met or was doing a reading or something with Edward Asner, and that was a little weird because she was this fairly hot 30-something chick, and he was making passes at her, and he was 89-ish,
Right.
and it was like
Uncomfortable.
little bit, especially since she was making passes back at him, and he just couldn't. He tried, he couldn't. He had a brass bed set up on a Broadway stage, and she still would. Anywho, another person. I don't know where I'm going with this. Someone who. You say George Burns was unbelievably nice. Someone who is not known for being particularly nice. You did get your Tony Award for doing Jerome Robbins on Broadway. There it is. So you worked
I
on.
loved him. I
Okay.
loved him. I loved him. I loved him. He loved me. He loved me. He loved me. Um, I I think that, listen, we all do some bad stuff in our lives, and he did some big bad stuff. But beginning with the House Un-American activities, which was before any of our time when we did the show. But the thing is, what we came to understand is that he was trying to protect himself. He was a gay man when you couldn't be a gay man in the United States. So that doesn't mean it was the right thing. And I won't go through all that. And I'm not going to get into any politics. But this man was a genius. He was all the characters that every character from Tevye to Peter Pan to Hildy the taxi driver, he had in himself and he could do. He studied at the actor studio. He was a brilliant actor first. All the dances were based on acting choices, not movement choices. And it's funny because
Hmm.
I was, what was I thinking? Oh, so I just did this Fiddler on the Roof, and I loved the choreographer. Her name is Chloe Treat. She did a fantastic job. She used a little bit of Robbins choreography, not choreography. In the wedding of Fiddler on the Roof, the men break out in this ecstatic dancing, right? Well, Jerry told us all about that. He went to all these weddings of all the Hasidim. He went to them and he witnessed it, and it literally was this ecstatic. It was ecstasy, ecstasy, God, marriage. I don't know. I don't study Talmud, and I don't
Right. And
know
I've
enough.
never taken ecstasy, so I'm not.
Okay,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
there you go. Anyway, so I was watching the guys do this dance, and they were sort of like steps. And it wasn't up to me to say it. Of course I did, but I just he was brilliant, and I loved him. I loved him. That's what I
Well,
have to say.
yeah, okay. I mean, I'm glad you don't have horror stories. I mean, everybody said we want the dirt, we want the who was nasty, who was this, and the one person that you won't talk about. But I wish you would talk about who was not nice to me. But okay, you won't. You won't. They're still alive. You were
No, no, and it was that. Forget that story.
I
That
am
was
forgetting that story. I'm not forgetting that story, but I'm not going to make you tell that story, Debbie Gravitt, because we have so many other people and things to talk about. Tell me, do you have a story of doing another fabulous musical, Wonderful Town, with the one, the only, we're a lot of old people here, B. Arthur. If you can't be good, B. Arthur. Any B. Arthur stories?
well. I do have a story about B. Arthur, but I can't tell it because it's a little sexually explicit, and I won't do that. No, I won't. Again, wow, talk about a broad, which
Well,
it's funny. I ran into a casting director yesterday, and he was talking about, he can't really say the word broad anymore. And I went, oh,
Well, no, women can. I couldn't.
right, right.
I saw that
No,
broad on the
yeah.
street,
She was a broad. Let's
She
just
was,
say that.
yeah, whoa, whoa.
We didn't do Wonderful Town together. We did a PBS special that we did a number from Wonderful Town.
Oh,
So,
sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. All right. Yeah,
yes.
my note taking is in Hebrew and left to right. I can't
Wow,
read. But wait,
that's
wait. There's a story about her involving oysters. That isn't X-rated, is it? You told
where
somebody a
did you
story.
hear that?
I don't know. I just literally, I have two words on my notes here: oyster story. Beatrice Arthur, Wonderful Town. What the hell? And it was something you told. I got it from an interview with you. No.
No.
That was a story. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one thing that look. Not that I would know what oysters are because they're unkosher, but I know what they look like. So I'm guessing. But we're not going to go there. We're not going to go. We're having a non-interview, ladies and gentlemen, with Debbie Gravitte.
It's going really well.
Yeah. Well, it was. Here we go. All right. Let me ask you though. You did, as we mentioned, you won a Tony Award. Do the thing. Do the Tony Award thing. We won a Tony Award for Jerome Robbins. Did that make a, a difference to your career in the short term and also in the long term? Like, would your trajectory have been different without the Tony, et cetera, and so forth?
Well, I can't really answer who knows.
Yeah.
All I know is that I am a Tony Award winner, and it's like the greatest gift from the theater I could get. And I, it sort of changed things because people want to hire a Tony Award winner. Did anybody write me a new Broadway show? No, that just didn't happen. And of course, I did win the Tony and then moved to Los Angeles, which is a very great career move. But there wasn't enough happening in New York at the time. But I'm sure I did get a couple of jobs because of that. And it makes you more hireable in terms of, like, singing in concert throughout the world. Like, Tony Award winner. Okay, that's a good thing.
Yeah, no question. So wait, are you? That doesn't look like a Los Angeles apartment. Are you back in New York now?
I'm on the East Coast. I'm
So,
preparing for the snow.
so you're probably in Connecticut since that seems to come up so often in your thing.
Yes, good guess. Wow.
Oh, I have my spies. No, I don't. I don't have my spies. So I know you said you generally don't want to talk politics, but this is a question I'm throwing out in every performance. The eyebrow goes up. The Jewish is like, what's he gonna ask? So, but it is a legitimate question that has been answered by a couple of people of your stature here. I'm sure over the years you've been asked and have played the Kennedy Center. Would you play the Trump Kennedy Center?
Absolutely not. Thank you very much.
And you don't even get to add anything more than that. Full stop. Don't even have to explain why.
Full stop. It's a very scary time, and I hope it'll be over sooner than later. I'm absolutely horrified with what's happening in our country and therefore the world. And I've always supported the presidency. I don't want to start going down that path because it's an endless cesspool right now. But I would not play the Kennedy Center.
I mean, understand that of the people I've had is 0-3 so far in terms of like one was oh my God.
I would play the Kennedy Center, but not with what they've done.
Not with the name on it. Darius DeHaas said the same thing when I asked him a couple of weeks ago. So all right. Would you play Don't Tell Mama though?
No, absolutely. Absolutely not.
Now that Sidney Meyer doesn't run it, you're not going to. I'm just. Anywho, let me ask you though. You refuse it. Don't want to talk about like the person that you met that you didn't have a good time. So who are one or two of the greatest moments of meeting idols where they exceeded your expectation? They were so great and so wonderful.
Gwen Verdon.
Okay.
No, I just absolutely, that's how I sort of started singing and performing and dancing and blah, 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 is growing up in Los Angeles, they used to have a station where they play the same movie over and over. And one week they were playing Damn Yankees, and I was just like, what is that? What is that thing where you do all that? And so of course, when you're in the theater and, you do 1,000 galas, and I was doing something, and there was Gwen Verdon. And now everybody takes pictures with everybody now, but this was again years ago. And I went to her and I said, "Can I please take a picture with you?" She said, "Of course." And she was so lovely to me. Nothing, it didn't change anything, but she was so wonderful. And I have this picture with her, and I really cherish that.
Did you ever meet or work with Fosse? Just.
I auditioned for Bob Fosse, and it was an iconic moment because he literally, I had worked with the guy who was going to quote an incredible talent named Chris Chadman, who died way too early, choreographer, and he was assisting him. And Chris knew what I did. Anyway, I auditioned for a show. What was it called? Oh, it was like, I think it was the last show he did.
Big Deal on Madonna Street?
Big Deal on Madonna Street.
Yeah, all right.
And he had me sing Life is Just a Bowl of Cherries. And he came, he was wearing his boots, he had a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. And as I was singing, he was walking around me, and he'd go, "Take it up a step." I was singing in, high Q's and Z's and W's. I don't even know. I was so excited to be auditioning for Bob Fosse. And the only thing I really remember, besides the fact that he, the cigarette, the boots, it was Bob Fosse I'm singing for. And he said, "How well do you dance?" And Chris Chadman was behind him going, and of course, I didn't know what he meant. Did he mean to say, "Tell him how good you are," or "Don't tell him how good"? I had no idea.
Oh, yeah.
So I said, "Well, I'm pretty good. I'm not A ranking," and that was it. But not Cheryl Lee Ralph, who got it. Loretta Devine ended up getting the role I auditioned for.
Look, it happened. You can't get every. Speaking. Well, the thing is, you point with great pride and love and memory of that picture you took with Gwen Verdon. What are one or two of your other most sacred, nostalgic artifacts from your career? Like if you were in a show.
That's my Tony Award?
All right, your Tony. Yes, your Tony, right? Where do you keep your Tony?
On my piano.
This makes sense. All right. You're pointing at me. I'm not your piano.
I also have, let's see, right there. See right there?
Oh, yeah.
That's my Grammy Award certificate. I'm very proud of that. I don't know. Like I'm
not just talking about the glittering prizes. I'm talking like a piece of a costume, a prop, something hand signed, anything. Or no, you're not. No.
No, it all like sort of lives in here. It dwells within me, Rabbi.
Did you do theater in high school?
Oh, of course. I was the big star of high school. Yes.
So what were the characters? Who were you playing back in high school?
I played Amalia Balish in She Loves Me down an octave. Vanilla ice cream.
Oh, you did hit that. Okay, you went up there. That's good. Yeah.
An octave lower. Guys and Dolls Adelaide, of course. I did Babe in the Pajama Game, one of my favorite roles. I love that role, and I want to play it one day. Hello, Broadway. Yeah, maybe not.
Well, that was a pretty good high school then that you were. Were you in a performing arts high school? They just had a really good theater.
Well, it ended up being a performing arts high school after I left, but it was a great school.
But they were building there, you could tell. Yeah.
And I did, South Pacific. So I covered a lot of iconic things.
And what about in college? Were you?
Well, I went to LA City College and Theater Academy for a very short time because I started working. But I did Two Gentlemen of Verona there. I did Finian's Rainbow. That was it because I left.
Because you got jobs, which is...
Yes.
So what was her first big professional gig?
My first professional gig was the New Christie Minstrels.
I did.
This land is your land.
Really?
This land is my land. from California. I'm like looking like I played the guitar, which I didn't.
But were you an original member of the Minstrels, or you were?
Oh, I'm not that old.
I,
No,
I'm sorry.
no, no, no. This was way past their sell-by date. No, they were still going out and singing. And, my first professional job was in the New Christy Minstrels opening for Phyllis Diller in Las Vegas.
Wow.
Bada bing, bada bang, bada boom.
That's all right. Do you have any Phyllis Diller stories? Because I wasn't expecting that name. Okay, no.
Never know.
No, no. Do you have any New Christy Minstrel stories? I mean, were there wild times in the van? I
There
don't know.
were pretty wild times. Yes, there were.
Really?
Oh,
Can
yeah.
you, if they're not, if they're NC-17 rated, can you recount one? Not
No,
X-rated, but no, no.
no, no. They're private memories, which
Oh
had to
my
do with
goodness.
getting high one night, and it turns out that we were smoking hashish. No, we were smoking opium. It was opium laced marijuana, and it was absolutely terrifying. And I don't wish that on anybody.
So you didn't know until after you'd whiffed that it had opium in it? Is that or
Correct. It was absolutely horrifying.
well, how was your trip? I mean, you were
Awful.
horrified by you were scared that something would be terrible, but was the
No, no, I
trip?
wasn't scared. I didn't know. It was just terrible,
Oh, oh.
hallucinating, and it was awful.
At that point, you thought you were in the Doors instead of the New Christy Minstrels. It happens sometimes like that.
Bum, bum.
Thank you. Thank you for the badum bum. Ladies and gentlemen, by the way, we have a couple more minutes here with the lovely, the wonderful Debbie Gravitte, whom you can all go see, excuse me, in her show Big Band Broadway at Westport Country Playhouse. It is happening next week, Thursday through Sunday, January 29th through February the 1st. You can get your tickets at westportplayhouse.org. Or, of course, you're going to go to this woman's website, DebbieGravitte.com, Gravitte, Debbie, the usual way. DebbieGravitte.com. Tell me, what are the songs that, you don't have to give away the whole game, but what are some of the songs you're going to be singing in your show?
Um, well, I'll give away two of them. I'm singing Mr. Monotony from Jerome Robbins Broadway, and I'm singing Gotta Have a Gimmick from Gypsy, and I may or may not have my trumpet with me when I do.
Well, wait, do you do all three characters in Gimmick? Do you have to do
You're just
lights?
gonna have to see, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, nobody. So, let me ask you. In all these years, and I know it's an unfair question that women get asked a lot more than men, but having a career in the entertainment and having not one, not two, but count them three kids that you've mentioned, the balancing of the motherhood, the career. I know it's an old sexist question, but I'm an old sexist. So, what did you give up? What did you get? And you also have a husband who is an actor too. So,
I feel like I've given up absolutely nothing and only gained. So that's an easy.
long question,
I
quick
mean,
answer.
if
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'd be doing more Broadway shows if I didn't have young kids, because when I had young kids, I started doing concerts because I wanted to like actually see my children. And when you do a Broadway show, 8 shows a week, ladies and gentlemen, is a really hard schedule. And you need to be like 22 and single um to do them, really. So so I was doing Chicago and Broadway, and I went, you know what? I never see my kids. I want to see them play soccer, football, throw the javelin, all the things my kids did. And so I started doing concerts more. So, maybe I missed doing like the workshop that would have led to the next Broadway show, but I
Yeah.
have and have had an amazing life, much, much better than I could have ever imagined, ever.
Now, I do have
So
to ask, I was too lazy to check this, but when you were in Chicago, were you Roxy or Velma? And then
I
who
was
was you?
Mama Morton. So that's why I didn't
I
like
don't get that. I did look that up, and it sort of shocked me. I'm like, how old were
it's
you?
okay.
No, I don't see you as Mama Morton, but
Well, thank you.
yeah, seriously. Yeah. Who were your Roxanne Velma when you were Mama?
Oh, you have a million people, but I did start with Patrick Swayze,
Oh,
who
wow.
lasted, I believe, 6 performances, and he just couldn't sustain it.
Oh.
Couldn't sustain it.
Well, but because he was ill at that point already, or
I
just he was
don't
just more a theater
know.
guy? Yeah.
I think maybe he was at the beginning of his illness. He was fine. He was absolutely fine, but I
But
think
yeah.
I don't know. I should like figure out the timing of that, but
So he was the Amos. No, he wouldn't have been. He would have been the what's it? The
Billy.
Billy. Billy. Sorry. Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
then
Yeah.
they brought in Norm Lewis, so that was great. So it was nice.
What
Yeah.
was your all-time favorite theater show musical experience?
Well, I'm gonna have to say Jerome Robbins Broadway because I won the Tony Award. So
And
that
the
was really
experience,
nice.
and he got along great with him, so that helped. So it all was a wonderful,
Oh,
terrific.
it was. It
Yeah.
was. We rehearsed for 6 months, so it was great. It was great.
So, my other question, and as we wrap up our delightful chat with Debbie Gravitt, is what? Oh, so we know what you're doing next weekend. In fact, we're going to go watch you do it. What do you have in the months ahead? More touring? More? Are you auditioning for anything? Do you have anything? Where can we see you?
You can see me in La Mirada, California. I'm doing big band Broadway, but with a 15-piece big band. At Westport, we're using a 6-piece big band. Maybe it's a little big band.
Right. And one
We're
of them is a
making
kazoo,
music.
so it's a little. You're fudging a little bit. Yeah. Okay.
Um, and then I'll be at the Good Theater in Portland, Maine. I'll be with the Hershey Symphony.
Oh,
I'll be
sweet.
in North Carolina. I forget what the place is called. I have a few things, but they can go to my website and look them all up.
DebbieGravitte.com, GRAVITTE.com. Any show, I mean, you're touring, of course, but do you have any musicals coming up? Are you going to be, as you did in
I
Atlanta?
Fingers crossed. I don't know. Fingers crossed.
So, can I ask, and what song, because people know you and casting people know you, but sometimes you still have to audition for a role, I'm sure.
All
What,
the time. But
what
I
is
never
your,
audition. I
so,
rarely audition.
well, you rarely audition or you do? Or,
Rarely.
because at this point,
Because there aren't that many
yeah.
roles for people like me right now.
Is there a song though that you, if they're not handing you a thing to practice, but a song that you audition with, like your go-to, here, hit it.
I used to audition with a song that David Zippel wrote for me, David Zippel and Wally Harper, I should say, called I Was Born to Be a Slide Trombone, and I would play my trombone. That was a big winner. But I haven't done that for a long time.
I should.
Usually, right, as of late, I just sing the material that I'm asked to do.
Just anyway, we have asked you to answer all these wonderful questions with us in the neighborhood, and we're so incredibly grateful, and we're so thrilled to see Debbie Gravitt both in front of us now and in Connecticut at Westport Country Playhouse Thursday through Sunday, January 29th through February 1st. DebbieGravitt.com for tickets and all the places that you can see this wonderful, talented, still Jewish, even though the name's not still Jewish lady. Thank you and shalom to you, Debbie.
Shalom. Shalom.
Devorah. Bye-bye.
Thank you. This was so fun. And now I have to go buy groceries for the snow.
Oh, safe travels.
Okay, you too. Thank you.